Mid-American Conference play is underway inside the Watson and Tressel training site as the Youngstown State Penguins take on the Akron Zips. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. I'm John Ostapowitz alongside my colleague, Dylan Lux. For the Penguins, their offense is red hot as they ride the wave with a 4-game win streak and return back to Youngstown unbeaten on the road. With YSU's offense putting up a clinic over the past few matches, Katie Grotenthaler leads the team in goals with 26. However, the Zips look to bounce back after 2 straight losses against Lindenwood and Rider universities. The offensive attack for Akron is led by Sienna Hinchcliffe with 27 goals and 34 points, while the defensive end is held up by Katie Bomber with 20 ground balls and 20 draw controls. Though, of course, it's a pleasure to be broadcasting alongside you here today for a Sunday afternoon slate of action here in Youngstown, Ohio. Both teams are looking to start out with an unblemished mark in conference play.
John, 2 second-year head coaches looking to get their footing in a gritty MAC conference here today. This will be the 8th all-time meeting between the Penguins and the Zips. Akron does lead the series all-time, but it's a close one, 4-3. Akron won the one matchup last year, 17-7 in Akron at InfoCision Stadium. So, John, today the Penguins look to even the score and get some revenge on the Zips.
So when you talk about both of these teams being very familiar with each other, can you talk about 3 keys that can make the difference for both of these 2 teams here today?
Absolutely, John. I think that the goals go the same way for both teams. Both teams want to establish a solid offense. They both have incredible goal scorers, with Grotenthaler for the Gwins at 26 goals, and then Sienna Hinchcliffe for 27 goals for Akron. So both offensive powerhouses look to get the ball to them today. And then assists. YSU has 88 unassisted goals, only 30 on the season, but over the last couple of matchups, Lena Cox has been spectacular at getting the ball to her teammates. She has 16 of the team's 30 assists. And as for Akron, they've got 50 on the season in total. Looking to do more of that here today. And then causing turnovers. The Gwins are first in the MAC in caused turnovers, and Akron does the same. Just a lot of defensive pressure, causing turnovers. It creates offense, John. We're sure to see a great matchup here today inside the Watts.
Well, you talk about a lot of offense. It's going to be the defense that has to step up. You know, both of these teams love to pile on the goals. 118 for Youngstown combined. And when you look at Akron, they have 92. So both teams, again, love to score. You see the opening draw control here go in favor here for Youngstown State early on. And
that's going to be one of the keys of the game, John. Youngstown State has truly improved on draw controls. You know, in our first matchup of the year with Lindenwood, we saw, you and I up here in the booth saw a tough game on draw controls for Youngstown State. Now they've moved into first in the Mid-American Conference in draw controls with 123 so far this season. So a lot of improvement there, and it's helped them tremendously get to 5-3.
Youngstown State grace run. And we saw over especially the past 4 matches, Youngstown State has found their stride offensively, trying to piece it together. Foul called there is Akron just a little bit too much, and an opportunity will come for the Penguins here.
And Allie Garrett, last time we were in the Watts, had a great game, got a couple of goals on the board, got her first goals of the season on the board, and now got a chance for another one right here with a free possession play.
Allie Garrett elects to go that one short inside. Sammy Drew, 2 defenders to go by, could not cut inside. Looking for the teammate. That was deflected off of Sanders.
A great save there. That should have been an easy goal for the Gwins, but a great save there by Sanders, John.
Absolutely right. 2 defenders now for Youngstown State, going a little bit too much. That one's lost. Youngstown State tried and get there with Sammy Drew. But that'll still go in their favor as that one rolls out of play.
And those are those turnovers, that pressure from Youngstown State. That they are in your face constantly, and they'll make sure you make mistakes.
Well, that's a big reason why they have that 4-game win streak. On the road, they really applied the pressure. They were able to go up against some teams such as Gardner-Webb, and they were just able to lock up defensively, put up a lot of offensive scoring, and really right their wrongs, which has been trying to win those draw controls. We saw here in the Watts their 5-game homestand where they struggled, and they've been able to really turn that ship around. Inside here for Allie Garrett. That one goes a little bit too far, and that one's saved by Sanders.
Sanders, starting off the day with 2 spectacular saves. If she's going to play like this all game, it's going to be a long day for the Gwins. And, John, you talk about righting the ship. What a season for YSU comparative to last year. No wins last year, and they come in with a positive record at the midway point of the season. It's been a great year for the Gwins, Rob Harris has done a great job with this program in just his second year.
Katie Bomber now with it for Akron. And you talk about Hannah Sanders. 62 goals allowed, 48 total saves coming into this match. 43.6% her save percentage category. Akron again here, 2 defenders for Youngstown State inside. Katie Bomber again. Gets it to Noelle Boyd, another one of those players with 11 goals on the season for the Zips.
This is going to be a tough day for Amos. She's done well on the road, but now that she's back in the Watson, now we're in conference play. It's a whole new beast.
One here. So that was off of Amos, but there was a foul called, which will negate that opportunity.
I think you hit the nail on the head, John. I think the foul blew that play dead before the shot actually would have counted.
Shot was off by Clint Scales. Cox now.
This is what she can do.
Double, yeah. She has 16 goals and 16 assists on the season, which for her, she has more than half of Youngstown State's assists, 16 to 30 in that differential.
Yeah, if you find her, she will find you. I mean, she sits in her spot, she knows her position, and she is great at finding her teammates streaking to the cage, John.
Youngstown State again. Benzinger off the far side.
Nearly had an opening.
State, yes. And Benzinger is really one of those players. She has yet to start a game, but she comes in off the bench. She has scored 15 goals coming off the bench.
And she started this year hot, John. I mean, she was one of those, that three-headed monster to begin the year, but obviously Grotenthaler has just taken off this season now with 26 goals in 8 games. But yeah, absolutely, John.
One of those players that can really get it done. Akron again, 0-0 is where it stands. 10:53 remaining here in the first, as the defense here has looked very good, but the offense for Akron, Noelle Boyd trying to get it together, cannot. Amos already standing tall in front of the cage here.
We're starting off today with some great goalie play. A couple of saves to start off some action. And a turnover there.
Youngstown State trying to scoop up the ground ball. They get it. Nice pass. Benzinger tries to get it inside. Cox will have it.
He did that. That could have been a tough turnover and a fast break opportunity for Akron, but Youngstown State able to pick up the ground ball, which is, again, another area they've been pretty good in the last few weeks.
In the field vision, especially for Benzinger. You saw it. She had 2 defenders coming towards her. She was wide open. Benzinger now goes high.
And that's going to be nearly an and one, John, but a great take there by Benzinger.
Yeah, she did hit the ground there hard, as you saw the cross check by Akron, just a little bit too much. And again, it's conference play. They like to be physical. There's teams that know each other.
It's a Grady conference, absolutely.
Inside now for Akron. Trying to get defenders back for Youngstown State. Whizzes pass to the far side. That's good. Inside, looking for the pass to get the assist. Nice little flip back. Sienna Hinchcliffe.
And another great defensive play by the Gwynns. Had an opportunity inside. Just not there. I believe that was Mattingly that found her teammate in the middle of the field there. But just way to close the gap for Youngstown State, and now another offensive opportunity.
And Kuzale just came in and swiped that one away.
This is a bit different than what we're used to, John. I mean, usually we've got 3 goals on the board at this point, but we've been in 6 minutes of game time, and nothing's hit the back of the net yet.
Well, you can definitely think about the coaching suggestions, and it was going to be defense. Slow down these offenses, and they have been slowed here early on, but again, it's just the first quarter. You've seen really a lot of turnovers and trying to really establish who you are. As you can see here, trying to chew up a little bit of clock here.
Yeah, this is the play that really matters. I mean, if you go 0-8 in non-con play and win your conference, you're still making the big tournament at the end of the year. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? So, I mean, this is when play really matters. I'm sure both teams are just kind of skittish to start off. We've got 5 early turnovers, a couple early saves for 2 teams that really do know how to score the ball. So I think once both teams get settled a little bit, we're going to see some scoring. But as of right now, it's been pretty slow going.
Free position opportunity now for Sienna Hinchcliffe, one of those players who know how to score right off the leg there of Amos. And already off to a hot start as Akron will retain possession.
Yeah, Amos has been in the right place at the right time. She's been putting herself in good position, as has Akron's goalie Sanders. She's been good as well.
And for Youngstown State, they've been trying to find a goalie that has worked. They had all active goalies at least have a couple minutes. That one's high, a little bit over by Hinchcliffe, but when you look at the stat sheet, everyone has had their opportunity to at least play one or more games here in the back of the cage for Youngstown State.
They were trying to find their footing. I mean, there was a bit of a goalkeeper battle, and you got to find out who is better in certain situations, because sometimes a goalie can get fatigued, a goalie can be, better in as I said, in certain situations. So it's all about just trying your luck in different times of a game, or different games in general. And I think they've found their footing with Amos. I think she's been solid this year, despite being so young.
Katie Bomber now is inside, wide open there. Kellen Fletcher for Akron. That one's high as she was hit down, though.
That's going to be free position.
Absolutely, just a lot of contact there. Youngstown State was swarming in. You can see Jalen Clinkscales talking to her team here. This is very crucial now. 7:37 free position. No team has yet to score, but this will now be taken by Kellen Fletcher.
It's been aggressive so far, John.
Fletcher now going in inside, and she scores as she strikes first for the Akron Zips. They're on the board here early as Kellen Fletcher, free position opportunity for her. And how about adding to it?
So that'll be goal number 13 on the year. So point number 19, a solid season for her so far, adding to it here today, and they move on to a 1-0 lead.
And of course, we'll be right back. Here's a score by Akron, 1-0, right back here on the Penguin Sports Network. Kellen Fletcher helps put Akron on the board here, 1-0 here early. Dylan, can you talk about especially that goal, free position? You talk about Youngstown State being a little bit physical there and allowing that opportunity to transpire for the Zips.
And the Zips took care of that opportunity. Those are the ones you have to hit. It's like a free throw. I mean, they call them free for a reason. There's a free position play. You get your opportunity, got to take them, and Akron puts one on the board because of it. So a solid start for them as they'll get out to a 1-0 lead, and now here comes a draw control, which is going to be one of the key points of this game. It always is, in lacrosse, of course.
Yeah, and when you look at both of these teams, it's all about the draw controls. Youngstown State, they struggled early. You can see now winning that one inside Cox as it's one-on-one, trying to find a lane. She'll just take it herself.
Goodness, she is fast, but a great save by Sanders again.
Well, we talk about her stature, small but mighty. She is a player who can not only get the assist numbers, can cause turnovers as well. You can see her fighting against Sanders there, and she's just chasing her down. And
might get a penalty here if you're not careful.
Absolutely. That one will go low, and she'll get that one out as that attempt to clear it is good, as there's just Cox surrounding every lane that she could possibly find.
Yeah, she's a great defender, and that's where she looks to attack, is in those fast break opportunities that we just saw prior to this offensive possession. She can attack in such a fast way with her, as you mentioned, John, with her stature, small but mighty. She knows how to score, and she can find her teammates too.
Katie Bomber looking for some help, gets it to Noelle Boyd. Far side, trying to cut past the defender. Defense for Youngstown State has to step up here, only letting up one goal from a free position opportunity here so far in the first.
And if you're going to only let up goals from free position, if you're Youngstown State, you're going to have to be okay with that. I mean, as long as you're not fouling and you can play clean for the rest of the game, if your defense has been that solid, it's...
And the defense again here working, trying to scoop up the ground ball here. Akron maintains it, though. They've spent a lot of time here in the attacking zone.
10 seconds on the shot clock, John. And
trying to scoop it up right back to Akron it goes as they try still, as that's still on the ground. Loose again. Akron gets it, tries and goes inside off of Amos. The shot clock expires.
That was a great defensive possession by Youngstown State. Did not give the Zips any easy opportunities, and Hinchcliffe nearly got goal number 28 on the year, but instead stays 1-0. And that's what Youngstown State is. That's exactly what I was talking about. You're going to have to be okay with giving up the free position opportunities. If your only goals are going to come on free positions, just play clean and you can win this game. But as of right now, Penguins offense got to get going. Defense has played well. It's time for the offense to follow suit.
Well, last time around, especially Youngstown State for Butler, that offense did not get going until the second half. Akron sometimes sees the same fate. Usually in the first half they'll get going, sometimes they'll falter. Just depends what their offensive scheme is. Youngstown State again, Lena Cox trying to go inside off of Sanders there, who again, both goalkeepers have been busy here in this first quarter.
Yeah, it was going to go out of bounds, and it should be Zip's ball here, and it will be.
Yeah, and you saw there, she just stepped out a little bit on the far line. She had it, though, for a minute, but that foot, they'll call that.
Yeah, absolutely. That Hopkins had great defense there from Akron. Just made sure to keep her on the sideline. Yep. Force the turnover. Which is what both of these teams can do, John. We talked about it before the broadcast. These teams can cause turnovers, and that's what creates offense.
And you've seen it, especially whether it be some mental turnovers as well as the cause turnovers. The defense has really stepped up here, and we talk about only allowing a goal on free position. That's okay, because that defense is doing what they're supposed to be doing inside of the cage here.
Absolutely, and you think about it, like not all cause turnovers, or not all, when you're, you got a potential scoring opportunity.
And that one's off of Amos there, and she did it, as that one will go the other way.
Great defense by the Gwynns. But as I was saying, I mean, playing great defense can also cause those mental turnovers, as you mentioned, that, those unforced errors by other teams. Just having that pressure there, not all cause turnovers result in, statistics, as we've got a stoppage of play here for maybe a substitution, maybe just a timing issue.
I think they could potentially be talking about a yellow card on Sienna Hinchcliffe, which you saw it a little bit in the referee's hand there facing the yellow card.
We'll see.
And we'll see now play go the other way here. It's Youngstown State.
Great run there by Rund.
And Rund again, she has had a lot of opportunities. One of those players who can find scoring opportunities if need be.
Akron's done a great job weathering the storm. John, you and I know as well as anybody that this Penguins offense can put up points in a hurry. We saw them score 8 goals in just one quarter. Akron's done a solid job of, as I said, just weathering that storm and making sure that they still have a goose egg. But now with the player up, it's going to be a lot harder.
Nearly a turnover. Nice job, by scooping up the ground ball there inside. Kreutzer's there. No lane to go as Akron going the other way. And this defense, whether it be the ground balls and turnovers.
If you like defense, this is the matchup for you. 1-0. We're nearing the end of the first quarter. Just two gritty teams making nothing easy on each other. That's what MACtion's all about, John.
It is, and it doesn't matter if it's women's lacrosse, men's lacrosse in the MAC, basketball, especially with March Madness on the horizon. I mean, all of these teams love to play at a high level.
Absolutely, and that's what wins championships. I mean, in any sport, they say defense wins championships, and that's going to reign true in any conference, any tournament. You got to have a solid defense. I mean, you can't just keep. I mean, not every team can score every possession. So to make sure that your offense can keep up with your defense and vice versa, super important. And today, that has been the case. 1-0, and we're at 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
And Kellen Fletcher for Akron has the lone score here on a free position, as she was just right there on the far side of your screen. But
looks like Akron's just trying to wait up this woman-up opportunity for Youngstown State and just get themselves back to full strength.
Don, you just took the words right out of my mouth. You're absolutely right. They want to have full strength here, potentially going into the second quarter as they have it now. To have another score here, go up 2-0 against a conference opponent.
Another
Far
late shot
side
clock.
now is Kellen Fletcher again. Why not? Goes back-to-back for the Zips. Kellen Fletcher goes again. 1:39 here in the first quarter. Watch this play right here by the Zips. Inside, finds the lane, just back-to-back. Actually, Lena Cox. Wow, what a play here for...
It's always nice when you go back-to-back in the MAC, John.
It is.
And she has started off this game hot. She has proven she's going to be a problem for the Gwynns early.
Yeah,
and
you
they
just
move
saw
out to
her
2-0.
right there, and you can also see just a little bit. There's lightning flashing. Luckily, we're here inside the Watts, but what a great effort there by Kellen Fletcher to put her team up 2-0 here, to have a great scoring opportunity.
Yeah, this game was nearly outside, so I want to personally thank Youngstown State University for moving this one inside. We can be in the safety of the Watts from all the poor weather.
It is Northeast Ohio, and Akron knows that more than anybody, especially the weather.
Both of these teams know all too well about the poor weather in Youngstown, the bipolar weather, as Akron gets a solid draw control. I believe that's their first of the game, and a much-needed one, too.
You're absolutely right. Youngstown State led 2-0. Now it's 2-1. They had to start winning some of these draw controls. That's how they were able to win 4 of their crucial games for Akron, is winning those draw controls, playing a great defensive game, ground ball margin. That's how they win, and you can see here today, 2-0 here with the defensive-heavy game.
It's those little things, John, the ground ball pickups, the draw controls, the caused turnovers, just the small stats make a huge difference in a game like lacrosse, especially when you're trying to have a defensive-heavy team.
And there it is again, but you can see Noelle Boyd for Akron. 2 defenders there. She just goes high. 3-0 here for the Zips. They're starting to find their rhythm offensively. Look at this goal here, inside 2 defenders. It doesn't matter, just right behind. She caught Amos right off guard.
Great shot. Just found the top right corner of that cage, zipped it right past Amos, and move into a 3-0 lead. What a play. That was a beautiful shot there. Unassisted from Noelle Boyd.
Noelle Boyd, again, you look at her, especially on the season, as that is goal number 12 for Boyd, one of those players who is tied for the assist margin as well. 2 players with 8 assists tied, as well as Katie Bomber and Noelle Boyd, 2 of those players that love to put the assists combined, 16 for them.
You can tell Akron has their scorers and their passers. With Youngstown State, they have one passer that does most of the heavy lifting there, but yeah, a lot of spreading them action for both teams.
Well, for Akron, their game plan was eliminate really Lena Cox in the scoring lanes, because she knows where to find people. They have done a great job. 3-0 here as Youngstown's offense. They're looking to at least put a score here on the board, as they have been dormant here in the first.
Yeah, not sure if Youngstown's had a scoreless quarter this season. Another caused turnover there. Great job by Akron.
And that was Katie Bomber again. We have said her name, as well as Boyd. And Hinchcliffe is a name that we were looking for here, but again, it's still early. She gets really involved in the second quarter and throughout the rest of the matches.
And 15 seconds on the clock here, John. Does Youngstown State have one last push?
They're trying
Brooke Peck,
to
if
here.
anybody, and a turnover again. And I believe they may call a foul here, so Brooke Peck may get her chance at a goal. One of those crucial goal scorers, John. She can put the ball in the back of the cage. One of those key players for Youngstown State. Now she's going to get a chance to cut into this deficit with just 6 seconds left in the first quarter. This is a big momentum shift play here.
It is, and this could really allow this team to have that momentum heading in to the second quarter, looking for her 16th goal of the season. Is it in? And it is. Just a little bit more help and reinforcement. And why not? Brooke Peck helping Youngstown State now. 3-1 is where it stands. 1.6 second here in the first. Just watch here. It was hit off the stick there as Akron tried to make a play, but why not? She's coming for reinforcement. Uris.
So Mia Uris in for the score. Another sophomore for the Penguins that now has a goal on the board. Just so many underclassmen on this very young team. Rob Harris has done a solid job. He's got himself into a bit of a hole today, but that certainly helps out of it.
Wow, for Mia Uris, why not scoop up the ground ball off the cause turnover? And that's her 6th goal now of the season. What a play by her, because if she would have lost that ground ball, Akron would have scooped that up here. And that is the end here of the first quarter. 3-1 is where it stands. We'll be back here in the second quarter for more action when we return here to Youngstown, Ohio. What an exciting matchup here so far as we head into the second quarter. 3-1, a late score by Mia Uris allows it now 2 goals for the Penguins to try and cut into that deficit. They have 1, but Dylan, can you talk a little bit about some of the shots on goal and some of the statistical numbers that have really allowed Akron to maintain this 2-goal lead?
And that's the one thing you see on this chart here. I mean, you've got ground balls super even, 5 for Akron, 4 for Youngstown State. Turnovers pretty even too. Youngstown State does have more turnovers than Akron. Draw control's dead even. But the shots on goal, Akron's just getting more opportunities, and that defense is creating more opportunities. Youngstown State only had 2 opportunities so far and only taken 1 of them. Akron's had 8. So solid day for Youngstown State defensively, but just got to keep it up into the second quarter, and you got to quit allowing so many shots. I mean, if you shoot 30 times, I'm sure get 30 shots on goal, some of them are going to go in. On pace for 32 right now is Akron. It's a lot of shots on goal, John.
You want to talk about the saves number as well. Liz Amos has 5 saves in just the first quarter. That's how you know Akron's offense has been really busy here. When you have to face 8 shots on goal, you have to save 5 of them. If it really wasn't for her effort here today, there could have been a lot more goals in the back of that cage here in the first. But you look at Hannah Sanders as well. She has 3 saves as a senior leader. Amos is a freshman, so it's really Sanders and Amos who have really been maintaining a great job here for both teams. Yeah,
absolutely. And, you know, if you're Amos, I mean, you've got to be pretty happy with that save percentage in this game. I mean, you're up over 50%, and that's solid numbers. It's just, you know, in a game like this, its defense is heavy. A 2-goal lead feels like 20. So Youngstown State going to have to work pretty hard to get back into this one, as Akron's defense has just been all over them, causing turnovers. They've got 5 on the game. Youngstown State has 5 turnovers on the game. Nice move by
the
Peck.
one-on-one here, and Peck again.
My goodness.
Why not, as she's pecking away to this lead. Uris had the score for Youngstown State. Now Peck gets on the board for YSU. 3-2 is where it stands. And here's the offensive scoring for both teams. Youngstown State finding it just over top. It's all about the height differential. She went over top of Sanders.
Line her up at receiver, John. Did you see that move? That was a beautiful juke move. Got her defender nearly turned around, found herself right in front of the net. And cut this deficit to 1 for Youngstown State. That's the perfect way to start, John. And this could be the start of a run for Youngstown State. We've seen this offense get hot. And as I've said nearly every broadcast, don't let the Gwins get hot.
Don, you're absolutely right. And how about 5 goals already in this matchup, all of them unassisted here so far.
And we knew that was kind of a point of both of these teams. Youngstown State had 88 unassisted goals coming in here. Now they're up to 90 on the season. Akron does share the love a little bit more with 50 assists on the year, YSU only with 30. But yeah, over a third, 2/3 of their goals now officially are unassisted. So Youngstown State just has some playmakers that can find themselves open without an assist. Don't need it.
Akron now trying to add a little bit more offense here as Youngstown's defense is looking to really stand tall here. Katie Bomber on the far side gets it again to a common opponent, Noelle Boyd, that she loves to share the love to.
And Youngstown, you can tell Akron has their game plan, and that's they want to stop. They want to take some time off the clock. I mean, we've been here for 50 seconds already. Great play by Youngstown State, and they'll move into the other direction. I believe that was Skylar Pigram.
And really the pass was just offline there. You saw her trying to get it to her teammate there inside, and it was just Youngstown State who allowed that one to kind of go off the mark, and they'll take it and go the other way here.
And this is what Youngstown State wants to do. They want to run, but they do want to run in general. And Akron, they want to slow it down and have a more methodical offense, but Youngstown State worked quickly last possession, got themselves a goal. I think they're going to look to do that again. Brooke Peck trying to get in there one more time. Nearly does. But I think the quicker Youngstown State works, the better. They're going to tire out this Akron defense, make them work to stop. Nice screenplay there.
What an even better opportunity by Mia Uris.
Is that 2 points, John? She sent that thing from another area code. What a shot.
Absolutely. But just watch that play again. It was really just an alley-oop pass, and it was just on the far side. Watch these assisted numbers.
Yeah, Rund had this screen here, and that set up the play perfectly, just right from the 8-meter mark. And what a shot from long range.
It's the replay that doesn't do it justice. It was before that there was a pass from Uris there on the far side, alley-oop that set the screen. What a play there by this offense, who is now tied up 3-3 here in the Watts. 2 goals in the second quarter has now propelled them to a tied game here.
Is it getting hot in here, John? Because somebody's getting hot. I think it's the Penguins. 2 straight goals now, not even 3 minutes into the second quarter, excuse me. And they've already got themselves a tie ball game. This is what we want. This is what we love for some action, John. We knew these games were going to be close. It always is with this conference. Last year, the Gwins did struggle. 17-7 was the score last year, but already they're making themselves known that this is going to be a fight this year.
Well, when you look at the preseason poll, both of these teams were tied for 6th place, which is the bottom of the conference. Now they're fighting for a top spot here in the Mid-American Conference. So that really tells you that sometimes the preseason polls don't show you what goes on inside that locker room.
And I think that helps. I mean, that's a bit, it's bulletin board material, if you want to call it that. It's just motivation for both of these teams. I mean, both these teams were slated to be last in the conference, and now they're both top 3 in the conference in their non-con record. So 2 great years for second-year head coaches, and great play there to nearly get the turnover from Heather Carey.
That was really just a great block when you look at it on paper. It was really just a great effort by putting your stick out. Couldn't get it anywhere, but we'll see now as the Penguins will get it to Cox.
Those are effort plays when you have plays like that. It's like when a pass is thrown in basketball and a defender tips it away out of bounds. I mean, you don't get the turnover, but you know that now you're in their head. Don't let Mia Uris have it. She's going to shoot that thing from Akron.
40 minutes out, she'll be able to get that one in.
Great defensive play, though, by the Zips here to cause the turnover and get themselves an offensive possession right back.
And a great job there by Sanders, who you saw Peck there just applying the pressure. She had to clear that thing high, and she got it out to where she needed it to be. So they're trying to go slow here. But the fast tempo that they tried to match with Youngstown State has allowed YSU to tie this thing up here. Trying to go inside with Boyd.
Yeah,
one-on-one.
Another big possession for Akron because you don't want to give Youngstown State the ball back when you
There's
have
Boyd here trying to go
tie
inside,
game.
and does she get it? We're looking for the official call, and she does. Boyd here, 4-3, helps Akron grab the lead again.
Announcer jinx, I say tie game, and as soon as the words come out of my mouth, Akron takes the lead again with a nice move.
Hey, you got to know when not to say that, especially with Boyd here, who helps this team again. She just adds to her total on the season. One of those players who had just scored her 12th, now lucky number 13. That is 2 players now for Akron that has scored 13 goals now on the season. We called the other one here early on with Kellen Fletcher adding to her total.
Yeah, to another unassisted goal as Noelle Boyd just created her own shot, as you would say. And now 2 goals apiece for Fletcher and Boyd. They've got the Zips with 4, which leads. And that was a crucial goal. You don't want to keep giving the Penguins possessions after coming into this with a 3-1 lead this quarter. Tie game, you don't want to keep giving the team that's hot the ball. So that goal was huge for Akron as they were able to retake the lead. Now the Penguins got to work to tie it up again.
Well, what really has allowed Akron to come in this game is winning the draw controls. Youngstown State, they were able to claim that margin here early on. They were up 2-0. Now it's Akron that leads 5-3. They were able to get really 4 straight draw controls.
Yeah, 5-1 run in draw controls. That's huge, and creating possessions and creating shots. That's a psyche killer for the Penguins. You know, you have to, you need to win those draw controls if you want to win ball games. So it's tough to see that many go by, especially in a row like that.
Noelle Boyd again trying to beat out the defenders. That is what worked for her, especially when you look on your screen here. You will see her always try and do a spin move, cut inside or outside the defenders, and that has really allowed her to score 2 goals here.
Yeah, you can see she is quick. I mean, defenders having a hard time staying in front of her. Nice pass there. What a beautiful play by Akron. A little give and go, and Fletcher now on the board with an assist. What a pass there. Akron gets up to 5-3, John.
And just watch this here, a little bit of assist, an alley-oop to the back, just back in, and a great score, and able to get on the board is Heather Carey for the Zips, and able to add to this total for them. 5-3 is where it stands, and as the Zips have a 2-goal lead over Youngstown State, we'll be right back here on the Penguin Sports Network for more Maction. Offense is clicking at the right time. 3 separate players have now scored a goal for the Zips. And when you look at the shots and shots on goal, both teams have combined for 21, but the number that really gets very interesting is the shots on goal. Akron has 10 compared to Youngstown State's 6. So it's been Akron that has capitalized, but Amos has 5 saves, which has really cemented herself in the first quarter, has really faced a lot of shots here now in this second.
You know, when you're facing that many shots, it's so tough as a goalkeeper, and you can't really take that all on your chin. Still at a 50% save percentage, but yeah, when you're facing 10 shots early in this game, I mean, we're still early in this second quarter, it's tough on a goalkeeper. It can be tough on them, mental tough on them, physically. So if you're Youngstown State, definitely want to try to limit Akron's possessions and for sure limit their shots.
Mattingly in there.
And speaking of,
yes,
Brooke Harper's actually going to come into the game for Youngstown State. So Amos is going to get a break with her 50% save percentage so far. And yeah, I mean, sometimes goalies just get gassed. I mean, they get fatigued, and it's tough to play with that, especially after another draw control now for Akron. 6-1 run for the Zips on draw controls, just creating so many offensive possessions. It's going to get tough on the Penguins, and a nice look inside.
Boyd here inside off the far, but you saw right there Heather Carey hit the ground there and still tried to make a play as
looked like it wasn't blocked or saved because it's going in Youngstown State's possession. And one of their first offensive possessions since their goal in the second quarter, early in the second quarter. So finally a chance for the Gwins to cut into this deficit after losing all those draw controls.
Well, it's all about chewing clock, and Akron has done just that.
Absolutely,
a 2-goal
John.
lead over Youngstown State because they have spent a lot of time trying to score.
You have hit the nail right on the head. When you control the clock, especially as well as Akron has, you control the game. I mean, just long-winded possessions, lulling the Penguins into a sleep, and then boom, a goal.
Grotenthaler going
like that,
high, and there
much
it
like
is.
That.
As now Grotenthaler on the season, goal number 27 for Katie Grotenthaler, as she is now tied in the MAC for the most goals with guess who? We're talking about her here, Sienna Hinchcliffe, who has 27 goals as well. They're both tied now for the MAC lead, and we knew two of the best offensive players in the MAC going head-to-head here today. Grotenthaler being the first one to score out of those two, with Hinchcliffe here has yet to score 1 goal, but Grotenthaler adding 1, 5-4, cutting into this deficit here. We have an offensive game.
Yeah, I think that both teams have done a good job of kind of shutting off those offensive firepowers in this game, early in this game, I should say. But now both offenses are starting to heat up, both the Gwins and the Zips. And we'll see if YSU can get a draw control and a ground ball pickup, and they do. Run gets herself 1, and Youngstown State looking to tie the game now, so they've got some momentum on their side. And what can you say about Katie Grotenthaler? I mean, a fantastic goal scorer, as you said, John, now tied for the MAC lead. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets a scoring title in the conference by the end of her career, by the end of the season, perhaps.
Well, it's really going to be Sienna Hinchcliffe and Grotenthaler who could arguably cement themselves as players of the year on the offensive side. Those two are going to go head-to-head here. Youngstown State trying to cut into it. Foul will be called, though. That will go in the way for Youngstown State, potentially a free position opportunity to tie this one up here.
This is going to be a huge opportunity for another sophomore, Grace Rund. She's handled the ball well today, so interesting to see if she can get her name on the board in the goal category.
She could elect to run this one short, or she could try and take it on her own, as you saw Sanders just in there trying to stand tall, and she did. As that one,
I think it was just off the goal, John. I think just a miss there. As Akron will take possession, so that one went out of bounds after the shot.
That's what a great opportunity there, as you saw Brooke Peck try and cause that turnover, but it will stay with Akron.
They've got a scrappy full court press, John. You know, with Lena Cox and Brooke Peck, they'll work hard to make sure that they don't get an easy clear opportunity.
You're absolutely right. They go very fast whenever they know they can try and cause a turnover. Akron now trying to retain their 2-goal lead. So we'll have a stoppage here.
I believe it's going to be another free position. Everybody's lining up there. So Akron going to get a big opportunity after the foul on
Stahl.
Stahl, yes.
Akron now looking to score here again. Youngstown State has a 3-2 run here in the second quarter. That will elect to go short.
I'm not surprised with that. I mean, they're called free position opportunities, but I guess that just means you can do
Boyd
whatever
now
you want
cutting
with
wide
it.
open. Why not? Like walking into the grocery store, she just found the back of the cage, and there was no defense there for Youngstown State. She just waltzed right past him, and Noelle Boyd now, she adds to her total as we tip our hats off to you. She has a hat trick in this match here. Just watch
like
this play right
watching
here.
into the grocery store.
Absolutely. Watch Boyd here. No one's home. Beats out the defender. She loves to do that 1-2 step move and right underneath Harper. I mean,
just
you
gets
can't
a
script that.
yeah, just gets a lot of defenders with that one move. And a huge play for them. You know, well, I mean, we know how quick she can be. We were talking about it just a minute ago, how quick Noelle Boyd is. And she proves it right there. Gets, as you said, John, a hat trick. She's shopping for hats at the grocery store.
Well, I don't know what grocery store you're going to that sells hats, but 14 goals now on
One that lets
season.
you walk down the aisle, no defense, John. That's what. Great draw control there.
And Akron scoops it right back up as Youngstown State. They got it the first time. They broke their run on the draw controls, but they're going to retain that again.
And now Akron's going to have to clear it. This one goes way deep. But they do. So solid play by Akron. And as you see, I mean, they get the draw control, and their first thought, it's funny when you watch. I mean, Youngstown State wins a draw control and they attack instantly. They barely go behind midfield. They just go. And then Akron moves the ball way back into their own territory. They take their time, methodical, wind the clock. That's why there's only been 10 goals in this first half so far.
Defense on Boyd. That one's tipped.
Great
Youngstown
defense.
State intercepted it. Trying to go again. Nice spin move there by Jenna Cook.
Jenna Cook's also been one of those key factors for Youngstown State. Not super apparent in the goal scoring category.
Cox is in there, gets it for Youngstown State. Lena Cox now strikes for YSU.
But she is very apparent in the goal scoring category, both assists and goals. And she can find the back of the net.
Just watch this play right here. Lena Cox just cuts inside. Doesn't matter how many defenders there are. She just beat out Sanders on the inside, and that is goal now number 17 for Lena Cox.
There are two things that Lena Cox is good at finding in the game of lacrosse.
And what does that do?
One is her teammates. She's had a great season, 16 assists. The other, the back of the net. She's had 17 goals now on the season. A real two-way threat for Lena Cox, both passing and scoring. And she's a great defender, too, with her quickness. And now she's got the Penguins back within one. And she just attacks so quickly in those fast break opportunities. I mean, she gets the ball, and by the time that you get to midfield to try to play defense on her, she's already at the 25-yard line over here. Just so quick. And her moves inside that 12-meter fan so fast as well. So hard to keep track of her. You can't keep her in front of you. Gets herself on the board here today.
Youngstown State there lost the face mask of Brooke Peck. A little stoppage here as they talk this one over. But when you look at it, there have been 11 total goals here. Only one of those have been assisted, and that has gone to Akron, who has just a lot of offensive players here. 10 unassisted goals is a huge opportunity for both of these teams.
Absolutely. Both just have shot creators. I mean, people that can get the ball wherever they are in the field, and they can make an opportunity wherever they are.
We can see the refs here as Sienna Hinchcliffe on the far side, maybe trying to figure out why the stoppage is. From up here, we saw just Brooke Peck lose her face mask just a little bit, but a green card will be handed out. Maybe they were trying to see if it would be a yellow, but it looks like it might have been on Youngstown State.
And it looks like Stahl will sit down. She was the one that lost the face mask, actually, John. But she's going to get the green card, yeah, as you said. So I guess a woman up for Akron.
And again, it was Youngstown State who tried to get in there on the draw control and retain the margin. They were struggling just a little bit, but Akron, they have just commanded those draw controls. Far side now, Sienna Hinchcliffe.
As they would say, the only way Youngstown State can win the draw controls is by fouling. But either way, Akron did a nice job drawing the foul, and now they've got an opportunity to go back up too. Real back and forth game, and if you're Akron, you're fine with going back and forth up a goal. But if Youngstown stay back and forth when you're down is not ideal. So Akron will go back and forth all day. They'll go shot for shot.
Katie Bomber was in there. They're waiting for the signal. As you'll see it.
Failure
right
to
here.
advance.
Yep. So this will allow the opportunity, but yet another stoppage as they talk this one over.
I think maybe she wasn't set there for a second. So.
And that's okay. Allows you to get reset and allows the opportunity to try to get that one on the far side.
I think she was trying to go fast, try to catch YSU's defense off guard, but she ended up not being set herself.
And YSU, they love the fast-paced game. Whenever teams go quick, it seems like they go even quicker.
Yeah, I think when teams go fast is when Youngstown State's at their full strength, ironically. But I mean, they play better when they're moving quickly. So I think if Akron goes quickly, Youngstown State's going to be perfectly fine with that. They'll play their game. That's the pace that Youngstown State wants to go at, and that's why Akron's done such a good job today so far, just slowing the pace down, lulling you to sleep, and bang, points on the board.
And that's the way Youngstown State here with this offense. She could have went in there to score. You saw Uris try and make an opportunity, and
it was a good look by Lena Cox. Yeah, just good look, but poor execution, bad pass, and good defense by Akron, no less.
Youngstown State has 8 turnovers compared to Akron's 6. 3-2 on the cause turnovers. Youngstown State owns it by 1 as that one goes in here for Akron. As Sienna Hinchcliffe, one of the top scorers, she retains her lead in the Mid-American Conference with the most goals as Hinchcliffe again adds to her total on the season. Goal number 28 now. Nice spin move, just beats out the defenders, and she has a powerful swing, as you saw it right there, as 2-goal lead yet again for the Zips.
Well, we knew she was going to get on the board at least once, John. I mean, she's arguably the most prolific goal scorer in the MAC. She always finds her way open and into goal. We saw it just there. Gets on the board, and as you said, retains that lead.
And when you look at Hinchcliffe, not only does she do a lot on the draw control, she had 19 coming into today's matchup, 27 goals. Now she has 28, 34 points as well, make it 35, where she just continues to just add to a lot of her totals.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
It really is, and when you look, especially at some of the teams that are a little bit higher, whether it be Boston College or any of those other ones.
Another ground ball pickup goes to Akron. They've just been so scrappy when it comes to those. And as I said, John, stats that win games, the little stuff. Getting those ground balls, winning your draw controls, huge for offenses. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, good sir.
No, you're absolutely okay. I mean, a lot of those points that you did hit home, especially with trying to make sure these teams, again, play to what they know. But again, when you look at some of these teams and the scorers for Akron and Youngstown State University, some of the bigger schools, some of their top goal scorers only have 30-some points, but you can see here again just how these prolific scorers, doesn't matter if you're in the MAC, the A10, I mean, you have players who can really go out and score.
Yeah, if you're a goal scorer, you're a goal scorer, and that is what it is. And when you're putting up 28 goals in a year, and by the midway point of the year before conference play, I mean, you're prolific. I mean, it doesn't matter what conference you're in. You're pretty good at what you do. That was a great save by Harper on the other end, by the way. But yeah, with Grotenthaler and with Hinchcliffe, I mean, 2 great goal scorers, and they would be on any team, I think.
And that one's high, but a collision as both players tried to go for it. Grotenthaler was in there as it looks like it potentially could have been Noelle Boyd as well, as everyone just went up for it.
Big opportunity for Youngstown State to get this back within 1. Again, Akron's going to be all right with going back and forth in goals. Yeah, that was a hefty play. Yeah, she did.
So here's Grotenthaler here.
Trying to tie that back up.
Loves the free position opportunities, and there it is. 7-6. Katie Grotenthaler for Youngstown State, and there's the tie again. These 2 goal scorers in Hinchcliffe and Grotenthaler are going to go back in fourth.
What a
shot.
shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you stop that? I mean, she put that in the perfect position. That was nicely done by Groton. I mean, and that's what it is. When you're a great goal scorer like that, you know where to put it no matter what. You'd be great on any team. Smooth criminal. Katie Grotenthaler, as you said, ties that lead for the top goal scorer in the MAC yet again. These two are going to be going back and forth all game, all season. It's so fun to watch. Can't wait till postseason play.
And for Grotenthaler, you're absolutely right, Dylan. That song, Smooth Criminal, absolutely fitting. Against Gardner-Webb, she had 6 goals, which is a huge number, especially for her, as she just adds, again, her total numbers for Youngstown State has really allowed this offense to get going. As a sophomore, she plays as if she was a senior or graduate student for this offensive team.
Absolutely, and that's what I think Rob Harris knew coming into this season and even last. I think when he took over this program, he was thinking, you know, I have a young team, a lot of girls need to develop, so many freshmen last year, and now just 1 year under their belt, and look what they've done. Five more wins than last season. It's been a great season for them, as we've got a timeout on the field, but we'll stay here.
And 7-6 is where it stands, but Youngstown State, how about the scoring in just the second quarter? 9 total goals. Youngstown State leads 5-4. Akron held that lead 3-1 in the first, and now it has been YSU that has found their footing here in the second quarter.
A complete 180 from that first quarter. I mean, Akron's been right on pace, 3 goals, now 4 goals. Youngstown State, as you said, John, now puts up 5 goals in this quarter. And I think you're right, they've found their footing, but I think that defense needs to come back. It seems that when when Youngstown State's offense gets going, their defense kind of falters. But when their defense is hot, their offense falters. As soon as they put those together, they're going to be great. And that's what they did a lot of that road trip they've had. I mean, just 4 straight wins, 3 on the road, and that Butler game was a prime example. Just 8 straight goals, and I believe only allowed 1 in that last quarter against Butler. Just demolished. Maybe it was 8-0. But when both sides get going, John, this is a tough team to stop.
It really is, and when you look at Youngstown State, and we'll talk about Akron here, but when you look at their schedule, 4-game win streak, and over that, they have amassed 15 goals against Butler, 16 against Wofford, Gardner-Webb 16, and 18 against Radford. Just the offense has clicked, and the defense has worked very well as well against Butler and Wofford. They've only combined for 20 on the opponent side, as well as 8 for 8 against Gardner-Webb and Radford. That defense has played very well. You're absolutely right, but for Akron, it has been their defense against Lindenwood and Ryder. 2 of their losses in the recent weeks that their defense has really just faltered. 18 against Lindenwood, 16 against Ryder, and their offense only put up a combined 24 points over those 2. And against Butler, they only had 11-5. The defense was perfect there. That's what they're looking here for today.
Absolutely, and when you're averaging more goals against than you are goals per game, that's a dangerous game to play, John, because that just means that your defense lets up a lot of goals and your offense can't really keep up with the opposing team. But Youngstown State, as you said, their defense has done well. Only allowed 20 goals in that 2-game span, so 10 a game, and they average right around 15, 16, 17 goals a game. Solid offensive play, and that comes from Grotenthaler, who's been great here today so far.
Peck now for Youngstown State, trying to find an inside lane, but gets it out to Cox. As that one trying to scoop it up just a little bit too far, but Uris will be able to maintain.
No, she'll shoot it from there, no worries.
Well, we already saw her shoot it from 3-point range, as she'll hit the deck here, as we'll see officially who that was. That was Grace Rund.
She's been aggressive today. It's nice to see, She's more of a defensive-minded player, it seems like. She's getting a lot of ground balls, much like Jenna Cook for Youngstown State. But today she's been great offensively. She's been trying to score goals. She's been inside on scoring opportunities, and now she might get herself a goal here with a free position opportunity.
Well, you saw the stick of Julia Mattingly of Akron just really hit the neck there of Grace Rund, just all up in there.
It's a contact sport, John.
Absolutely.
Another late goal opportunity, though. Youngstown State scored their only goal in the first quarter with just 6 seconds to go on the clock. Now 37 seconds to go.
Run
Can
here
they get
for
it again?
Youngstown State. She gets it. Tie game here in Youngstown, Ohio, 7-7. There it is, 32.9 to go in the second. Grace Rund now strikes for the Penguins. What an opportunity it is Watch this on the far side. Grace Run knows where to go. One-on-one on the free position. Just nowhere to go for
You'll never
Hannah
guess
Sanders.
what year in school she is, John.
Oh, Dylan, please enlighten us.
A sophomore yet again, just making veteran plays. All of these young women, these young athletes on this Youngstown State team just making big plays at a veteran level. And I think that's why Rob Harris has done such a great job with his team. He's developed these young athletes to make veteran plays and lead like veterans. And that's why they've been so solid this year, keeping it within 3 of all their losses. I mean, you lose by 1 to a team like Lindenwood. Just a solid season. I mean, they've been great trying to keep it going here today as Grace Run gets on the board. And a draw control here for Akron as they'll look to retake it 30 seconds ago.
Well, it's really been the draw controls where a lot of their scoring has been generated. It's trying to score those, create positions on the far side on the offensive end, and it has worked. But
I mean, when you get draw controls, you're literally creating offensive possession. So it makes sense that that's where a lot of their firepower has come from, is right off the draw control.
Katie Bomber working on the far side, lost it as the possession.
A lot of
Looks like-
momentum for Youngstown State heading into half, John.
And that'll be it here, 7-7 here as we head into half. What a game we have here in Youngstown, Ohio. But of course, stick around with us here on the Penguin Sports Network. We'll have stats, highlights, and so much more when we return here in Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown State's 6-4 run in the second quarter has allowed them to tie this game up here inside the Watts. 7-7 is where it stands, but the amount of shots that have really been fired off by both of these teams, 31 total shots, not to mention 24 total shots on goal. Just a lot of offense here in just the first half.
And that's tough for goalies. I mean, Youngstown State, 11 shots on goal, Akron with 13. As you said, 30 total shots, a lot of opportunities. A lot of them came in the second quarter. I mean, a lot of shots headed toward goal, and that's why there was so many points put up. I mean, only 4 in the first quarter combined between the two teams, and now we've got a 14 total goal game, and now we're at halftime. So Youngstown State's offense finally found their traction, and turnovers still pretty even. Ground ball is more even than I thought. I thought Akron would have had far more, but only 7 to Youngstown State's 8. Draw controls have been all in favor of Akron. Just a 10-3 run for them on draw controls. It's created a lot of offensive possessions. Youngstown State's done solid on defense. They've only forced 6 turnovers though from Akron. So both teams taking care of the ball relatively well. And as you said, only 1 assist, John, and that goes to Akron.
When you look at the scoring opportunities for both of these teams, Akron has 4 players who have scored 1 or more goals. When you look at Youngstown State, there have been 5 different players having the opportunities, and it's really been that difference maker, especially with Mia Uris, and Grotenthaler as well, leading the way with 2 goals apiece. They have been all over the place here in this match.
And that's how Youngstown State operates, John. They have great goal scorers, and we did have that goalkeeper switch middle of the game, and Brooke Harper only at a 33% save percentage right now. 2 goals allowed, 1 save. She hasn't been in too long, so we'll see if that improves. I thought Amos was doing pretty solid. I mean, she did concede 5 goals, but also had 5 saves. I think if she was facing a lot less shots, she'd be raring to stay in this game. But my guess is that she was just pretty fatigued after that first quarter. And we've seen some great shot attempts today. A lot of great moves, a lot of assists. Not a lot of assists, but that 1 assist, as you'll see right here, beautifully done by Akron. And that long-range shot from Uris. We've seen some impressive goals today. Hopefully we'll see a lot more in the second half.
Especially with Sienna Hinchcliffe leading the way for Akron. A lot of different scorers and a lot more to see here, especially when we come back here on the Penguin Sports Network. A lot more offense in store for both of these teams, but defense could potentially prevail. We'll be right back here for more when we return. John Ostapowitz, Dylan Lux on the call here as the second quarter is getting, or the second half, is getting ready to go underway here in Youngstown, Ohio. But of course, Dylan, can you talk about some of the keys? We highlighted them in the first half of play, but have those changed for you, or those seem to stay consistent?
I'm not sure, John. I think you might have hit the nail on the head with the defense, and I think for Youngstown State, it's getting both of the offense and the defense to work as one. First quarter, defense was there, offense wasn't. Second quarter, the offense was there, defense struggled a little bit. I think soon as they come together, they'll be great. As for the keys of the game, we'll see how they've been doing so far. Offense, I mean, Grotenthaler, that was one of my keys, was feed her. She's got 28 goals on the season now after 2 today. And Akron obviously has done great. They've found Hinchcliffe for a goal as well. So feed their stars. Done a decent job of that to both have a goal, at least one goal today. Assists, neither team has needed it. It's funny, only one assist on the game. That was to Akron. I believe that was Fletcher that got the assist earlier for Akron. So it wasn't needed. So I might have missed on that one, John. And then turnovers. I mean, both teams have been decent at causing turnovers. They've done a decent job at keeping care of the ball, but when they've needed it, they've forced the turnovers. And Akron will start off possession after they get the draw control.
So for draw controls, it has been Akron leading that margin 11-5. Youngstown State, they've done a great job over 4 games controlling that margin. Now Akron here today breaks their streak.
I'll swap out my assist goal for draw controls. Youngstown State needs to get back on the board with draw controls, create more offensive possession. If you're Akron, keep doing what you're doing in that category. I mean, you've created so many offensive possessions, and that can be a killer for a defense. And I believe it has helped, or it has hurt Youngstown State in their psyche, but defense holding up pretty well. Still only allowed 7 goals.
Bomber was on the far side, gets it to Noelle Boyd. The far corner looking nice cross check there by Youngstown State, the defense. We talked about it, Dylan. You hammered that point home. It's all about making sure that your defense locks in, and they're trying to do so here. Again, the cross check, double team on the defensive side. Katie Bomber was in there. There's a one-on-one opportunity.
Still 30 seconds on the shot clock. Akron's got plenty of time, and they know that. They're going to take their time and make sure they get the perfect shot.
Noelle Boyd here has to go around the defender. Already has 3 goals, has a hat trick in this match, but defense for Youngstown State
tough
here
defense,
in the third.
Yes, tough defense. Now down to 6 seconds and a foul there.
You saw the collision there as you saw it for Youngstown State, but they'll call that on Akron, and that will go in the way of the Penguins.
Just a bit too aggressive from Clinkscales there, as we'll see it one more time.
Yeah, you saw Clinkscales here just try and go around, and she had the right opportunity, but you saw just a little bit there. Grace Run did the cross check, which really
and look at Youngstown
her
State, John.
Yes.
We come back from replay, and we're already in scoring our opportunity. Youngstown State just wants to move fast, and we'll see if it works out. It could tire out Akron's defense, Also could tire out the offense. Great run.
Well, here's Allie Garrett here on the far side, and she got it. And just like that, Youngstown State takes the first lead of this match here against the Zips as Allie Garrett found the right idea. Allie Garrett, watch her on the far side, and yet another unassisted goal for Youngstown State as they don't need the assist numbers. That is now 8 goals that are unassisted. They came in with 88 unassisted. Now look at that total. They're able to add to that.
Up to 96, John, now on the year unassisted totals. And we were here when Allie Garrett scored her first 2 goals of the season. Now up to 7. She's become a crucial part of this Penguins offense. It's great to see that they're starting to involve more players. And, you know, she's needed. That's a junior, one of the few playing juniors on this team, one of the ones that gets a lot of minutes. She didn't get a whole lot of minutes to start the year, and she has only gone up since the season started. It's great to see that she's getting some action. Some action, John.
Well, last year, Allie Garrett had 22 goals on the season. Now she has 7, but here it is for Youngstown State. Katie Grotenthaler trying to go back in. Just a little bit off target there.
I thought that was automatic. That was great defense by Akron. I mean, usually when somebody like Grotenthaler gets the ball in scoring position, it's nearly automatic. I saw you looking at the weather out there, John. It does look like it's starting to get iffy.
Don, you're absolutely right. I know coming into today that there was a tornado watch, but everyone knows that the warning is the one that everyone should really be aware about.
Sir. And we haven't got anything like that yet, so fingers crossed that we get through today safe and sound. All these players and athletes and all the staff working at this game can get home safely.
Well, that one's high, but you'll see 2 players for Youngstown State as Cox will scoop up the ground ball, and that's another margin that Youngstown State has controlled in this game. And you'll see, especially for the ground balls, 8-7. They only control by 1, but both of these teams really
It actually
found
might
their
be
stride,
9-7 now with that last one, but who knows? Either way, Youngstown State does control that statistic. And just some sloppy passing here. A lot of high passes, and that one's going to go out of bounds.
Well, Akron will control this one as they're able to get it back. 8-7 is where it stands. Akron here trying to find some fast-paced offense, trying to mirror Youngstown State, who loves to go quick.
And it's worked, and I think that's why Akron might be trying to go quicker, but they've slowed it down right here. I think that is the other thing, too. Stay true to your game plan. There's really no reason to break away from your game plan unless it's not working. Akron's put 7 points on the board. They've only allowed 8, and they're very in this game. Don't break away from that game plan. Trust the process. Trust your process. Good look inside, but a great save by Brooke Harper. Wow, nicely done. Fletcher had an easy opportunity in the middle of that 8-meter segment, and just Brooke Harper able to get her stick in front of the ball.
And you saw, especially for Youngstown State, 2 different goalies have now netted saves, but that's okay. It's all about allowing that switch to happen. Therefore, it allows all of your goalies to have the opportunities to kind of slow down a little bit, because when you're facing a lot of shots, that's how you know the offenses are clicking in the right direction. That switch really allows you to catch your breath.
Absolutely.
So we'll see now for Youngstown State on the far side, Brooke Peck.
Might have been a card on Akron.
And it was just, looks like a foul from my end here. Jalen Clinkscales,
okay.
Yeah. No card to draw, which means both teams are at full strength regardless.
Usually when you're seeing the refs right in their books, they have a card to give out.
And the caused turnover there by Akron.
I'm not sure that was a caused turnover. It was definitely a turnover, but I believe that might have just been an unforced error by Youngstown. Just lost control of the ball. And you can't, when you have free giveaways like that, that's a tough way to keep your offense rolling. You're going to lose a lot of your momentum that they've come into this quarter building.
And Dylan, it was caused by Noel Boyd. It was Sammy Drew who had it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I was waiting for the initial netting on the stat sheet.
Absolutely, yes.
And
that's why we have that, John, is to make sure we get the stats right.
Absolutely. It's always great to have a nice little monitor here to make sure that we're calling everything correctly. Akron now.
Don't want to give anybody misinformation.
Katie Bomber had it.
And you can look at they just have no interest in going fast. Akron is going to let this clock wind.
Oh, nice move there by Bomber as Youngstown State looks like they tried to cause a turnover. Now scoop up the ground ball as Akron still maintains it. Oh, knocked down hard there. It looks like Flanagan was in there. Nice look inside. Akron needs some defense for Youngstown State here as Flanagan goes against. Looks like foul might have been called a little bit too much there on the cross check on the defensive side. Allows Akron to reset here. Free position on the far side.
15 seconds on the shot clock. They've got time, but they do have to move quick here.
The foul will be called, and it will go in the way here
of
the
Zips,
free
it
position.
looks like, yes.
So we'll see here. Looks like Sienna Hinchcliffe had it, but off the mark of the cage as Youngstown State will scoop up the ground ball and the missed shot by Sienna Hinchcliffe.
Back-to-back misses, one by Grotenthaler on the other end. 2 premier goal scorers, both had a miss today. I guess they're going to call that a foul here. And that'll go on Noel, it looks like, Noel Boyd.
When you look at that last play by Boyd, that was a tremendous effort by her. Came up right behind Youngstown State's players to cause that turnover as Akron tried to get the defense going, as looks like a foul might have been called there. You saw Youngstown State trying.
John.
Who else but Sienna Hinchcliffe, it looked like, who might have been in there as the opportunity again, but we'll see initially here. See on the far side, Katie Bomber gets it right to Hinchcliffe, who adds yet another goal to her total as she finally retains her lead in the MAC. But of course, we'll be back here. We're tied up 8-8 when we return here in Youngstown, Ohio. We're all tied up here in this matchup. Akron and Youngstown State, a combined 16 total goals. And the offenses, again, have no sign of slowing down, but the defenses was one of our keys. They have really shown signs at some point, but other than that, they have faltered at times as well. So, Dylan, can you talk about what these defenses have to do here to lock down? The goalies have done a tremendous job. Hannah Sanders has 5 saves. You saw Amos with 5 saves as well. Brooke Harper comes in, that's 2. So what do they do now? You know, the goalies are working in a great tandem, but what do the defenses have to do?
I think the defenses are doing solid in this quarter. I mean, with Akron's slow-paced offense, it kind of works in the defense's favor at times, but just make sure you don't get lulled into a sleep. If you're Youngstown State, I should say. And Akron, I think if you stop those premier goal scorers, you've got a decent shot. I mean, they've done a decent job on Grotenthaler today. Only she's got 2 goals on the day of Youngstown's 8. But their defense has been solid so far today. Only 8 goals on the day for Youngstown State. And I think just stopping those fast break opportunities and winning the draw controls. But sometimes the best defense is offense.
Wide open here, though. And Dylan, you're right. You saw Grace run there, win that draw control, and that went the other way as Cox was wide open.
Youngstown State got into scoring opportunity, absolutely. Yeah, and that's then, like, I think, as I said, you know, sometimes defense can be the best offense. But either way, vice versa. You know, with Akron's slow-paced offense, I guess there was an offside or some form or another. Maybe not. Maybe we've got a free position opportunity for Youngstown State.
And Dylan, you're right. It is a free position opportunity.
Who the heck do they got in the booth up there, John? They don't even know what they're talking about. Well, one doesn't know. One doesn't know what they're talking about.
You got to give yourself a lot more credit here. Grace Run, though, has more credit. Absolutely, Grace Run for Youngstown State takes over the lead. As you can see, 9-8 is where it stands. The free position opportunities have been the cash-in for both of these teams. Youngstown State, though, just watch Grace Run here. 2 defenders side by side, could not find her as Grace Run.
Look at the energy, John. This sophomore middle comes in, and right when Youngstown State needed it this season, she came in and she's playing her best ball of the year right now. Number 9 on the year for Grace Run. Another one of those sophomore great athletes for Youngstown State. And she's only 5'4", I should say. But, with her stature, she still does great scoring opportunities. As I said, now she's in the draw control. She's been a crucial part of this team.
Yeah, when you look at the defense for Youngstown State, they've also been trying to play a crucial role as well. You have some of those defenders who've been trying to play a role, as well as your midfielders who just try and be there at all points of the time. As you really talk about them, especially Tori Bustamante, who has really done a great job of playing not only midfield, but you can see her playing defense, especially on your screen on the far side. She's one of those players that have really been silent, but that's okay. It's those stats that you don't need on a stat sheet. It's defense that plays a key role.
You spoke her into existence. She causes a turnover right there, John. And then you make a great point. I mean, Youngstown State does a great job, I think. And the only reason I say this is because we see them, nearly once a week. We see this team a lot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and you could just see any given day that any player can step up, and Bustamante is one of those players who did just that there. And it's just, we spoke her name, and she's been making plays already here. So Youngstown State here getting it to Cox on the far side.
And if you want goals, that's who I would get the ball to. Lena Cox can find you in scoring opportunities.
And Kreuzer's another one of those players you saw on the far side. Grace Run now, different passing options as they have yet to net an assist. But that's okay, they're looking for one here as...
Haven't needed it, John. 9 goals in the game so far and still have the lead. Grotenthaler,
though, a little bit too far out wide as she took
the
collision, though. You saw 2 different defenders in there as she just got bodied on that shot.
Slow to get up, and that's not a great sign for Youngstown State. Definitely want to keep your best offensive player healthy. She did take a hit, though, John. It's a great point. Oh, and got
she took an elbow, to the side by Katie Bomber. It was just a huge collision, and when you take that whole impact to the side, that can really disrupt your play.
It's a contact sport, John. I mean, you know that this game is going to have a lot of rough edges. You're going to be taking hits, and that's why a lot of these girls, well, they're all tough, very tough athletes, and you have to be in a sport like lacrosse.
That one went low, but the shot clock will expire. Akron will take it. So you see Hannah Sanders for Akron. Trying to cause a turnover there, but it looks like Youngstown State might find themselves in a little bit of foul trouble here as she was
get
just
that
way
green
too
card,
much in
I
there.
believe.
Yes.
Yeah, just a little bit too aggressive on the defensive end.
Brooke Peck had the right effort, though. She tried to cause that turnover.
That's one
with
thing
Sanders.
I think, with Youngstown State is they've never had a problem with effort. They are a very scrappy team. Both of these teams are. We've seen it all day.
As you can see there, both the refs talking it over. You saw in motion that she was really swinging that hard, but it wasn't enough to really draw the force contact. They're talking about if it was intentional or if she was just trying to disrupt it that way. But nonetheless, Akron here trying to go the other way and set this one under 4 here in the third. They have a woman up opportunity.
Huge opportunity, absolutely, John, for Akron. They've got a chance to tie this game up, even if it is only for 60 seconds. But we'll see if they can take advantage of it late here in the third quarter. In a quarter where there's only been 3 total goals, much like that first quarter we saw.
So the defense now for Youngstown State trying to maintain this 9-8, that 1-goal lead that they had. But Akron's offense here going to make it a little bit tougher, but the cause turnovers for Youngstown State trying to make a play. Nobody can scoop it up as of now, as a fight will ensue. Youngstown State back-to-back.
Bustamante in there again, John.
She's really just making plays here within the past 5 minutes. She has stepped up here in a big way. Kind of dormant there in that first half, but in the second half here, really playing to that true defender.
And that's what you need. I mean, a defender like that. Now Youngstown State will most likely just wait out this woman-up opportunity for Akron, get back to full strength, and then attack on the offensive end. Again, late in this third quarter, chance for Youngstown State to increase this lead. The momentum swinging in their favor now. You can see the pendulum start to move toward the Penguins. Nice pass inside, but did not closed off the gap, and again,
just too much.
Another bad pass. Yeah, just too high.
We saw Benzinger in there as well. You saw the little flip back from Cox to Benzinger, and Benzinger tried to get it back, but just too much as Akron here just tries and scoop it up, and they have it. But these two defenders here for Youngstown State just making it so tough. You saw Brooke Peck in there.
Yeah, no easy opportunities on any clear or any ground ball, any shot. Defense has been scrappy today on both sides. Great stop by Bustamante yet again.
We saw Youngstown State, they were hoping for numbers to get back. Nobody was home, but they eventually have 5 just outside the crease.
2 minutes to go in the third, John. We have got a great game going. I'm curious to see if Akron speeds up the pace at all in the fourth quarter. Great double team there.
And it was Bustamante, as you can just see that she
might have been
really
a little too aggressive on that one.
Looks like maybe they would call advantage on it, and they did because there was no official stoppage. Just let them go. Bomber again. Working inside. No one's home. But they'll get it inside. As you can see, Noel Boyd. And that one's a little bit too high. Brooke Harper was anticipating that one. But here we go again. The Zips inside looking for it. That will be a foul called on Youngstown State.
And Boyd has just been all over the offensive end for Akron. I mean, just creating so many opportunities for them. Speaking of creating opportunities, they've got a free one now.
Well, we'll see who it is here once the number stands up. Could potentially be Jalen Clinkscales, but we'll see.
And another great save by Brooke Harper. And that's going to be a foul on Noel Boyd.
And that was Jalen Clinkscales with the shot there. But then you saw again just the fouls there by, and there's the ground ball by Youngstown State as they'll take this one and go the other way.
They'll probably wait this one out unless they get an opportunity right here. They'll probably, Jenna Cook gonna drive.
Well, Dylan, they like to go quick, and this is where they love to go crunch time, a little bit collision. They'll play advantage yet again.
Another player who's stepped up in their aggressiveness. What a look inside to Peck.
High. They need to scoop up the ground ball here if they want to try and score before the end of the third here. But what a great play in scooping up the ground ball by Hannah Sanders.
It's just an all defense, man. It's been a great defensive matchup for both of these teams. And Akron's got one more chance out of 15 seconds and counting. Can they do it?
Watch Kuzale and Bustamante there. Lost it a little bit. Akron trying to retain, but that'll sail out. Youngstown State here. That clock winds down as this will be the official end here of the third quarter. A lot more in store here in the fourth. 9-8 is where it stands. Youngstown State leads by 1 here. We have a lot more action coming your way when we return here only on the Penguin Sports Network. Before we officially jump in here to the fourth quarter, we would like to send our birthday wishes to Molly Sheridan's Aunt Kathleen Miller, who it is her birthday today, who's watching in beautiful Baltimore, along with Molly's grandfather, John Lepore, Happy birthday to you here from Dylan and I here in the booth. But of course, we have to hit on some of these statistical numbers here. Dylan, what do you see here on this stat sheet?
I always love a good birthday shout-out, John. I'm seeing a lot of high numbers, except for the assist category, and neither team has needed it. And turnovers for Youngstown State, it's been pretty even all day. Youngstown State's had 2 more since that first quarter. Ground balls are in favor of Youngstown State. Draw controls is my biggest stat on that board. Akron has controlled. Youngstown State could have an even bigger lead right now if Akron wasn't controlling the draw controls. So I think they need to continue to do that, create more offensive possessions. And as I said, I'm curious if they speed up a little more on the offensive end in this half, or if they'll stick to their game plan and ride the wave.
More importantly, especially with the weather going on, ride the lightning. Youngstown State, they have found the electric feel, and it's all about getting it together. They went 2-1 against Akron. The only time Akron has led in that differential in the scoring is the first. 3-1, Youngstown State took it 6-2, 2-1 in the third. Now here in the fourth, Akron is looking to flip that script. In the first quarter, Akron came into the game 24-24 in the first half of scoring against opponents.
No better time to flip it than the fourth quarter.
Yes, third and the second is where they really command that. In this game, that has been a different story. It has been Youngstown State who has commanded both of those quarters here. If Akron wants to win this game, that defense really has to play lights out. And same for Youngstown State. They have a 1-score lead, which is okay. You can play to your strength, lock down defensively.
It's still more than the other team, John. First of all, MGMT reference, awesome on the broadcast. Have to make that known. And second of all, it looks like Akron will continue to kind of keep that slow pace. Already 30 seconds into the shot clock, and still trying to get, obviously not trying to just stand there and waste time, looking for shots, just keeping it at a very slow pace.
Well, Akron now, they tried to find a little bit faster pace, but that one went just a little bit off the mark. After Noel Boyd won the draw control, went inside, but they're going to still retain possession here. So they'll try and find an equalizer here. Still retains it. You saw Hinchcliffe in there.
I believe that's going to be a foul in Youngstown State, so an opportunity here for Akron. And you're giving the ball to the best scorer in the MAC, John. Dangerous opportunity.
And this is very dangerous for Youngstown State. Brooke Harper has to play a tremendous save there, and she does, just right off of her. And
when they've needed her, she has stepped up today, and that's great to see. Youngstown State kind of has that 2-goalie system, and there's a reason that I'm up here in the booth and Rob Harris is down there on the field. He has got his team in a great position this season, this game. Solid coach.
We saw Hinchcliffe there just try and rattle off another shot,
nice
and
pass.
There she is. She went 3 possessions. She went 1 and 2 without finding the back of the net, or back of the cage, excuse me, but you'll see it right there. Just she comes back with a little bit of vengeance.
It's still a net.
Either way you look at it. And just inside, actually, that was not Hinchcliffe. It looks like that was Heather Carey.
Should be number 2 for her on the day.
And I think you're right. It's number 29 who is credited with it, which is Carey. But you saw there on the far side, it was Hinchcliffe who had 2 straight shots, both of them too far wide, and that was assisted, which is the second assist by Sikorsky, Caitlin Sikorsky. And that is Heather Carey's 11th goal now on the season. We are all tied up here in Youngstown, Ohio. Here
what
in the
a
fourth.
game to start off MAC play. Youngstown State trying to control, they do. So that's a big draw control for them. They needed it. Renthaler gets bumped. Great defense.
Yeah, Akron has really been
that was
stepping
Carey.
it up.
Yeah,
Yes.
I believe that was Carey that stepped up there.
And it doesn't matter if she scored the goal or
Could
not.
have been
She's going to
Trinket,
come
actually.
out. Yeah.
I believe that was Trinket that got that solid cross check. Just want to give credit where it's due. Defense means a lot, especially in a game like lacrosse. So nice pass inside to Cook. Just another errant pass. Another turnover for Youngstown State. And that's where a lot of those are unforced. I mean, just trying to do too much on the offensive end at some times. And
now that is 13 turnovers for Youngstown State that have really been unforced compared. There's been 23 total turnovers in this match here.
Yeah,
Wide open here for Akron. Noel Boyd was in there. Just a little bit too far. Gets it picked up and swings again. And Akron, just like that, Caitlin Sikorsky gets it in there. As now, here it is now for Akron where they find their rhythm.
And they did decide to speed it up there, went on a bit of a fast break opportunity, and boy, did it work out. So this first shot gets rejected, a solid save by Harper, and then the rebound
just went right through her legs, really nutmegged on that play. And again, we're tied up, or actually not tied up. There it is, 10-9. I was waiting for that to switch for a second. But there it is, Akron retains the lead as they go 2-0 here in the fourth quarter. They've shut out Youngstown State here so far to start their own 2-goal run. See the draw control here as Kreutzer is in on it. Sophomore attacker out of Lancaster, New York. So we'll see her play as Akron tries and gets it again, but that stick was way too high, caused a turnover. A little bit too much, but it'll go with Youngstown State here as Jenna Cook won the draw control.
And maybe Youngstown State needs to slow their offense down a little bit, make sure their passes are finding their target, make sure that their shots are on goal, rather than running in and getting an opportunity from the fast break could lead to more turnovers, as there's been a lot of unforced
There was
ones today.
Grotenthal to the far side, and there it is for Youngstown State, Jenna Cook. It was Grotenthaler to Cook who found the opportunity. We are tied up yet again, and the scoring does not stop. 20 total goals here. Just watch Grotenthaler there. Gets it inside, but it's the height of really Jenna Cook that
Is that
goes
an
to
assist
work
for
here.
Youngstown State?
And Dylan, it was. That was the first assist on the day for Youngstown State.
Grotenthaler
9
gets
goals unassisted.
Gets herself on the assist column today. Jenna Cook, pop quiz, John. What year in school?
Ooh, let me guess. Sophomore.
Absolutely, another one of those standout sophomores. Jenna Cook, much like Grace Rund, has seen a lot of success in the last couple of weeks. Just stepped up from her role and does all the little things, and it's nice to see her get on the board again. Number 6 for her on the year. Just stepped up in that aggressiveness and now getting a lot more playing time.
Here's the draw control here. They can tell the tale of this match.
And there goes Jenna Cook right there, aggressive on defense.
A nice move, though, by Akron, and just even better play, Noelle Boyd.
That was Boyd again. She is so quick with the ball. I mean, just, you can barely keep in front of her.
Just a lot of great plays by both players, and it's been the draw controls where Hinchcliffe so far has 5, as Boyd has 4 on the draw controls. Youngstown State again trying to force a turnover. Could not, as Boyd is wide open here. Defense luckily gets there in time.
Yeah, usually a member of an opposing team is not open for long against YSU. I mean, they can close the gaps quickly. They've got a lot of quick defenders, a lot of quick players. They can get in gaps.
The only time Youngstown State has really given up just a walk to the park was on that play where it was Akron who just waltzed into the grocery store and cashed in.
I think it was Boyd. Yeah, where she just walked into the grocery store. Nice move. Couldn't get by, though. That was Fletcher. She's been busy today. She's been all over the stat sheet as well.
And there's another one here
of wide
for
open.
Akron as they added on. That's number 19, Julia Mattingly, the freshman midfielder, cashing in on that attacker spot, who just found the wide open opportunity.
6-foot freshman.
That is a huge player, as you can see. She's the tallest one on the field here today, and it shows you that, again, she did not score except now, but that's okay. Find the plays that matter the most. Mattingly cashing in here big.
Yeah, haven't needed it. I mean, the height really hasn't played too much of a factor, but right there, I mean, when you're one of the taller players on the field, it's going to give you some help. As Akron gets up to another 1-point lead. Youngstown State's been in this situation before. We'll see if that offense can get rolling and if the defense can step up. Akron's got themselves 3 goals in this quarter alone. It's only been 4.5 minutes, excuse me. Another assist, though, for Akron.
A combined total of 13 total players have scored goals, either one or more. 13 combined different players. That is a lot of different people who can go in and score. I mean, it doesn't matter who you put it in.
Absolutely. I love the versatility. I love the fact that both of these teams have they can go the whole way down their depth chart, and they've got somebody that can score.
Katie Bomber went and won that draw control for the Zips, and they're really trying to zip this one up here. 10 minutes under here in the next 9 seconds, but here's the wide open play here again. You can just see Julia Mattingly just, the defense though, closing
She's
in on the
looking
double.
for another, just had her last goal, and she wants one more. Tough pass inside, it does roll around, but the ground ball pickup goes to Akron.
There's Mattingly again. Noelle Boyd now, she loves to do that spin move high, and it went in! Boyd for Akron goes up 2 goals now. After that one, skipped a little bit. We're waiting for the official call. But we're gonna see that one again. We'll see here. And they'll get it. And there it is, just watch that play there. An even better assist there by Boyd, and on that, 12-10 is where it stands. You can see Boyd there really trying to get some air, but we'll be right back here only on the Penguin Sports Network. Here inside the Watts, and what a tremendous effort by Noelle Boyd, who has just found herself in the right spot at the right time. And you saw her there heading out from break there, that she was just out of gas. She has given it her all here for the Zips, and she has been in that scoring category. And now they're up here 2 goals. Dylan, what does this defense or this offense for Youngstown State do? Not in desperation mode as of yet. 9:41, so a lot more to go here, especially in the game of lacrosse.
Yeah, plenty of time. Stick to your game plan. I mean, Akron's done that, and it's worked for them. They have gotten 4 goals in this quarter alone. Their offense is clicking. Youngstown State's offense just need to find, I think they just need to find one bit of momentum. Win a draw control, go down, score quick in 30 seconds or so, get some momentum on your side, and I think this offense will get right back into it. We've seen this Penguins offense. They can score quickly. I think they'll be just fine.
Youngstown State wins the draw control. That's what they need in order to get this offense going. Grace Run was in there. Stahl was able to pick it up.
And get it into the hands of your superstar. I mean, you have Grotenthaler and Peck. You have Cox. You have great athletes that can score the ball. If you find one of them, the goals will follow.
Akron also has great athletes on their side as well, whether it be the defense or the offense, but Youngstown State Run was in there. That was a little bit too high, but guess who? Hannah Sanders.
She's had a great quarter, like right when they've needed her, but a bad pass there. Youngstown State gets that opportunity right back, but that was a good play. Got it to Run, found an opening, just missed the shot.
And here's Youngstown State going fast on the far side. It looked like saw inside Run there. Here's Youngstown State. Did they get it? She did. It looked like it was Kreutzer in on it. And there it is. 12-11 is where it stands. Youngstown State cutting into the deficit. And it is Ava Kreutzer.
Another tall athlete, 5'11", Ava Kreutzer. Goes high. Yeah, she can just keep the stick up there, and nobody can take it away from her. And Youngstown State gets a much-needed goal. John, how much time came off the clock? Well, that was actually about a minute.
Yeah.
I thought I was chefing with that one, but either way, Youngstown State scored quickly. They only needed about 60 seconds to put a score on the board. And they didn't need to find a superstar. They found Kreutzer. And, well, they're all superstars. Aren't all these athletes superstars? I'm up here sitting in a booth in dress clothes, and they're out there playing the sport that they love every day. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, just like them, we like to really commentate. We love what we do up here as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And Kreutzer is
Wouldn't
one
want
of
to
those
be anywhere
superstars.
else, John.
Yes. And Kreutzer is one of those superstars now.
Absolutely.
16 total goals now on the season for her.
She's
she
had a
has been
great
there
year.
as a sophomore.
As a what, John?
Sophomore. We've said that a lot, but there are a lot of underclassmen on this team. But when you look at Akron as well, they have a lot of underclassmen as well, but their main players have been the juniors and seniors.
Yeah, Akron is a much more upperclassman themed team, and Youngstown State the opposite. And I think that's why this team is good this year. Both of these squads are, and it's so funny that they were picked last to be last in the MAC. These teams are going to fight. These teams could be fighting for 1 seed here coming the end of the year.
Especially when they get to tournament time. These are two teams that will see each other again if they play at the level they're playing here today.
Looks like
you saw Noel
just
Boyd.
a little aggressive there. Good play, great defense. Just a little too harsh there, and enough to call the foul, but wasn't a free position. Just
and there's the move there by Akron, a little bit off the mark there. That one here for Youngstown State. The speed now, but even better play there by number 42, Katie Bomber for Akron, just chasing Youngstown State down there.
Youngstown State's got an opportunity. The clear's good.
So here's the one-on-one with the speed. Kreutzer with it. A little bit too high.
I thought she was going to go back-to-back. She had a great run to the goal there. Youngstown State keeps it, though. Still opportunity. Brooke Peck.
Okay, here's on the far side.
Brooke Peck wanted a foul, I think.
Yeah, there's Brooke Peck now, as you can see her talking it over with Grace Run.
I think
will have the free position.
I think when she got in the scoring opportunity there, wanted a foul, and they gave it to her. Now an opportunity.
Brooke Peck gets it far side. As guess who? Gwen Bogish, a name we have not talked about here, as she scores it here for Youngstown State.
The transfer from Notre Dame of Ohio gets on the board.
As Bogish, just watch her there. Just got tangled up a little bit with Jana Sanders, and there she is.
You're not going to believe this. She's a sophomore.
We didn't even have to say it. Everyone at home can assume.
Everybody knows
that the sophomores were going to score a lot of goals.
So many young minds, so many young athletes on this team, underclassmen athletes, I should say, that are just making veteran plays. And that was Brooke Peck's assist, and she deserved it. That was a great pass, great find.
And Gwen Bogish, how about it? First goal of the season for her.
What a time to get it, right in conference play, man. Right at the very end of the start of conference play. Now a tie ball game here. Youngstown State's battled back. We'll see if Akron can retake that lead. A lot of momentum for the Gwins, but one goal can take that away if you're the Zips, and we'll see if they do that.
Dylan, you're not going to believe this. There are 9 different goal scorers for Youngstown State. It doesn't matter who you get it to, they're going to score. And a timeout now will be taken, but we'll stay here. So we have a lot to talk about. We are tied here. 24 total goals of offense here have been generated here in this fourth quarter. Dylan, what are some of the highlights, some of the lowlights here, especially as we end towards the fourth quarter? I know we'll hit on the schedules here coming up, because especially both of these teams, they're going to have a tough road here.
Speaking of road,
absolutely. For Youngstown State, you'll look at their schedule here. They'll go to Eastern Michigan. That match is scheduled for 3 p.m. March 23rd at Ypsilanti, Michigan. Robert Morris, of course, that game will be home here March 29th at 6 p.m. on Saturday on the Penguin Sports Network. If weather permitting, we'll be outside at Farmers National Bank Field. And, of course, Central Michigan at there, as well as Detroit Mercy, April 19th at 12 p.m. We're hitting the wire here. But for Akron, when you look at their schedule as well, they will stay on the road against Radford, another non-con, which they have 2 more left on the season. March 19th, ESPN+. Return home against Central Michigan in InfoCision Stadium, televised on the Zips Digital Network March 23rd at 12 p.m., as well as another road stint, Detroit Mercy, March 30th, and Kent State, April 6th at home, again, 12 p.m. But one really game that is not mentioned on this schedule for Akron, and it's really nerving if you are the Zips right now, is UMBC. They are 8-1, and that's after the game at Kent State. They are a team who is almost ranked. They have a lot of good opponents, and that is a great team for the Zips to face. If they are able to knock them off, that would be so great for them to head into tournament play.
Akron, is seeing a lot of, or is going to see a lot of tough conference play, or non-conference play, Tough conference play too, but Ohio State, they played earlier in the year. They're ranked in the top 25. A solid team there, and they're going to play UMBC, who could be ranked in the top 25 by the time they play. But I guess for a lot of these smaller conferences, a lot of the non-conference for any team, the non-conference isn't super important. It's a time to make sure your game plan's right and get everything settled before, the real battle in conference play. Because, as I said, John, you can go 0-8 in non-con, and it really wouldn't matter, because if you go 6-0 in conference play, bang, 1 seed, you win a couple more games, boom, in the tournament.
That's the beauty of the NCAA tournament as well.
Oh,
this goes for lacrosse, especially winning your conference, getting the AQ. Same with basketball as well. Today's Selection Sunday. But then you also talked about St. Francis, where they were a team who really struggled throughout the season, and it's that conference tournament.
One of 20 teams ever to make the tournament with a losing record. And that's the same for any sport, including lacrosse. As long as you play well when it matters in conference play, it doesn't matter what your record is. As long as the record in parentheses looks good, that's what matters.
Which is, again, that conference record. A lot of people look at that. Here's Akron here off the mark, but it looks like they will call it a foul, and this will allow potentially.
That was a tough play. Yeah, just took a hit there. I believe that was Balmer. We've said her name a lot today too, especially on the defensive end.
We saw Grotenthaler there on the far side, but it was drawn by Stahl there. Be a stall for Youngstown State, the junior defender.
This is a big opportunity for Akron. A lot of momentum shifting toward Youngstown State, an opportunity for them to get on the board again.
There's Katie Bomber now as they retake the lead here. 13-12, Katie Bomber leading the way now for the Zips. 5:47 to go. As you can hear a pin drop here in Youngstown inside the Watts, it's Bomber who just gets around Brooke Harper. As you can see her fired up, unscathed there. 13-12, 5:47 in the fourth. Dylan, what does Youngstown State have to do to tie this up here?
Stay with your game plan. There's nothing wrong with what's been happening. You're on a 2-1 goal run right now. You're down 1, of course, but if another 2-1 goal run and you're leading, I think Youngstown State's game plan's been solid. They've got some solid offensive players, and they've found 9 different players to score a goal. Been spreading the love, and it's been working. And I don't think there's any reason to go away from that. I think defense just needs to step up and keep Akron off the board for the rest of the contest. And it starts with winning draw controls, and Akron has done a great job of that today.
There's been 16 combined players scoring now either a goal or higher for both of these teams. It doesn't matter, especially here. You saw Bomber get her first goal of the game here, but that is number 14 on the season for her. 13-12 now is where it stands.
So it looks like Akron is definitely just going to slow the pace down here. There's no reason for them to speed up here. Take your time. Wind that clock. You have the lead. Zips are trying to wait out this into a victory. A lot of time on the clock, though, for Youngstown State, so we'll see how this game plays out. 5 minutes to go.
We talked about it, especially with Akron leading the all-time series between these two teams and how competitive it is, and Youngstown State not being a full-time member of the MAC, but an affiliate. Usually they're a part of the Horizon League, but you can see these two teams, they play like they play each other in every single sport, but for lacrosse, they just play at such a high level. And here it is for Youngstown State trying to scoop up the ground ball here. Bogash in the way. She was there, but knocked down. Let's see if the foul was drawn. Did they get it?
I think they did. Not happy about it was Trickett. Solid defensive play there, but just got a little too aggressive.
And that was officially called on Heather Carey of Akron. Timeout called, but 4:20 here remaining in the fourth quarter. 13-12 is where it stands. They have that foul now for Youngstown State. That gives them an advantage here. Again, not in crunch time, 13-12, very tight game.
Tight game, and yeah, absolutely. Youngstown State has no reason to be in a rush. There's definitely not any sort of panic mode yet. It's going to be a close game. You just got to be ready to battle here today.
Don, you're absolutely right, and when you look at it, especially Youngstown State and the record that they have been on here, and when you look at it, if Youngstown State is able to win this game, come back, 13-12 is where it stands. It will be the first win of the opener here inside the Watts against Akron, 12-11 overtime victory on March 3rd, 2022. And again, these two teams, they have been in some tightly contested matches. This one, no different. You talk about March 3rd, 2022. That was also a tight game, and you're going to see that here as well. If both teams can tie it up going to overtime, YSU has already been. Yes.
Overtime is definitely a possibility here in this game. A game that's been super, as you mentioned, super close, highly competitive. So this would be YSU's first conference home opener win since 2022. So 3 years in the making here today. We'll see if they can get it done or if Akron's going to hold off in another barn burner of a matchup between these two Ohio schools.
Well, this is a really different game than when YSU traveled to InfoCision Stadium. 17-7 last match around, and now it's 13-12, and it's all about coaching, right? You talk about Coach Harris, who comes into this program last year, 0-16, and especially when you look at Coach Jones as well for Akron, who has been one of those coaches coming in and trying to start a culture, and she has done so. You look at last year, struggling in conference play, but she's got it together here. First game, though, and there's a lot more to be played, especially with a lot of conference, especially Eastern Michigan's one of those teams, Central Michigan and RMU. I know a lot of people talked about how they could come in and go on a run and win the conference, but they're 1-6 now.
Struggled in the non-conference, but again, John, doesn't really matter. Conference play is what matters. You can go 1-6 and then end up your season 7-6. It doesn't. It all comes down to conference play. So a 1-6 non-conference is not pretty, but doesn't have to be pretty.
You're absolutely right. You can go and win the whole conference. I mean,
non-conference
has no weight when you look at it. But
I wanted to go back a second. I think you made a great point. These two second-year head coaches are just turning these programs around. Both picked to be last in the conference, and now both with nearly
here's Grotenthaler there, but it looks like she was able to force the contact just a lot there by Noelle Boyd.
And I think Grotenthaler did take a hit there, but she is great at drawing those fouls. I mean, she with as aggressive as she is, she goes to a scoring area a lot. She gets a lot of contact drawn to her, and that's why she gets a lot of free possession opportunity. That was a rough hit. And Noelle Boyd, excuse me.
She gets the yellow card here.
She's very aggressive. And that's what it is in conference play. I mean, both teams is trying to.
And for Akron here, having Grotenthaler here on the free position opportunity makes you just a little bit nervous because, again, top scorers trying to tie again with Hinchcliffe for the Zips.
Looks like Boyd's still out there in the field, so actually the foul was on Trickett of Akron. So that'll be woman up for Youngstown State, depending on how long this goes.
Grotenthaler, it did not make it in. It's 13-12 where it is, but thank you for highlighting that as well. Trickett, has that there. The yellow card for Akron.
And another foul. It's going to be on Akron, and this will be Brooke Peck's opportunity to score. We've gotten a severe thunderstorm warning, no tornadoes yet. It'll be until 2:45 p.m. EST. So as soon as this game wraps up, everybody be safe going on.
And thank you for that, Dylan. You'll see here Brooke Peck Getting it to the far side, and that one's out. Go inside for Youngstown State.
Allie
Allie
Garrett
Garrett.
nearly had one. I thought Uris was going to launch it from the three-point line again from that 12-meter fan, but she decided to go inside. Grotenthaler with it again. I think that's who they need to get the ball to. She's been able to. She can score goals at will.
Well, Akron is a woman down, and you'll see here just absorb the contact, but nonetheless, Youngstown State, Ava Kreutzer ties it up here, 13-13, full strength now. As here it is, Youngstown State, we have ourselves a matchup here inside the Watts.
A matchup. Sorry, that was bad.
That's okay, this is the Maction. We love to see the players score.
Was it behind the back?
And it was. Ava Kreutzer, if you can, see if you can
Sports
replay
Center
that
top
again.
10, Ava Kreutzer, eat your heart out. That was amazing.
Just the scoring ability of Kreutzer going in there to make plays and opportunities. Now tied up 13-13. Way to go. Doesn't matter if you absorb the contact or not, just
talk about absorbing the contact. That was a tough play by Kreutzer.
It is her 17th goal now
Took
of
me
the season.
the behind the back was so fast. It took me to the replay to get it. I didn't notice it until we went to the replay. That was an incredible goal by Kreutzer, and no less to tie it up at the first game of conference
play.
play.
No foul call there. Sorry, Dylan.
No,
That's
that's great.
There was no foul called there. Constant
right.
turnovers for Youngstown State. They have an opportunity to go 2-0 here on the scoring run. They lose it though. Akron scoops it up. Luckily, they get it for the Zips here.
That was great defense by the Zips to close off that gap. And yeah, great defense by Youngstown State to cause the turnover, but even better defense by Akron to stop the goal. Now the clear is successful, and we've hit the 2-minute warning. 15
Akron,
seconds from
they're 22 for 20 on clears. Youngstown State is perfect, 21 for 21. As it looks like potentially a timeout or subs will come in here.
I believe Akron will call a timeout, so that way they can talk things over and make sure this is the right play call, because you got 65 seconds on the play or the shot clock. 2 minutes left in the game. You got to make sure this is a good opportunity. Cannot waste it this time of the game. We're going to be in sudden death.
In overtime, Youngstown State, they've already been in that position already against Lindenwood, and that was really a huge game, especially for them. Akron has also faced Lindenwood. That was two matches ago, and that was also tight as well. But when you look at both of these teams here, 13-13 is where it stands. What do you do now if you're both of these teams? Do you lock down defensively? Do you try and force it into overtime? You're going to hit under 2. So in this situation, if you're the head coach for either Youngstown or Akron, what is your game plan?
Well, I can guarantee you neither one of these teams wants to be in overtime. I mean, this has been a tightly contested game, and this was a nice pass here inside to Kreutzer to get that goal behind the back.
It's over the shoulder a little bit, and it was Grotenthaler who read it. It was a nice play just down the middle, just Kreutzer right behind.
And she's, 5'11", Kreutzer is easy to find. She is really blossoming in this game. Nice to see. And if you're Youngstown State, you have to lock up here defensively. If you're Akron, slow pace works for you. And in this case, it's what you need. You got 65 seconds. I'd take almost all of that off if you can, and just make sure really, just the most important thing is to make sure your possession ends with a goal. Realistically, if you manage to score here, that's huge momentum. Then you go to the draw control, and if you win the draw control, that's huge. So I think with Akron, it's just going to be take your methodical offense that you've run all game. It's worked today, especially in this quarter. 5 goals for them in this quarter.
Now Akron has an opportunity to either A, lock down here on the offense, just drain some clock out and score in the last few minutes. Therefore, they can really just close this game out, because this offense for Youngstown State, they can go fast. We've seen it a lot, and that's what Akron does not want to happen.
Right.
For YSU to score again in the last second, and then therefore they would tie it up again, and then they go into overtime. Yeah,
if you do score, game is definitely not over. You win that draw control, and things start looking iffy for Youngstown State. So we'll see how Akron proceeds with this. They are trying to go slow here.
So there's Noelle Boyd again. Defense for Youngstown State, trying to stay with her.
Yeah, I'd be scared if I was Youngstown State of Boyd. She's been all over the place. Can just make such easy opportunities. She's going to find the ball again, and I think she's going to be the one to take this shot.
Yeah, and watch that matchup as well against Katie Bomber as well as Tori Bustamante. Those two have just been in it. As you can see, Noelle Boyd here finding the right cut, and it goes inside. And Akron, they get the score as they now lead by 1 over Youngstown State. What a play there by Noelle Boyd, who has found herself in the right way. Just watch Boyd here. Defense playing a huge role. Jenna Cook was in there, and she just cuts, finds a great end, and she finds that one in there. That is now Noelle Boyd's 5th goal in this match alone.
We've been saying her name a lot, and with good reason. Boyd has had a spectacular game for the Zips, and you've got step 1 done, and now Boyd can nearly ice this game with this draw control, so we'll see what happens.
She had 5 goals against Lindenwood this season so far.
This month?
Yes, March 8th. So she has scored a lot of goals here in the month of March. Youngstown State here trying to win the opening draw control, but if Akron gets it, they could really salt this one away. Picks up the ground ball.
That's huge.
That's Katie Bomber.
This game could nearly be over.
Oh, there's the foul there.
Wow.
Hit the ground there hard. Bomber, she gets up. As you can see, looks like subs will come on here. Bustamante comes up, but watch this here.
Just a
play.
Yeah, a tough play there. Bustamante will sit down after that, I believe, for the yellow card.
Absolutely. I mean, she was there like a brick wall. It looks like a timeout again. I mean, it's in these crucial scenarios you have to take your timeouts. This is really getting into a situation where
my guess is
Youngstown
Youngstown State took this timeout to make sure the defensive play call is right. Because, I mean, you've got a minute left to turn the ball over and go score. I mean, and you're down a player. This is not an ideal scenario for Youngstown State, but they've been in scenarios like this before. I mean, they've been in close matchups all season. They've won them. They've also lost them.
So when you look, 14-13 now, and you're hitting a minute, this defense for Youngstown State has to lock up, but it's also Akron now. They've done a great job of controlling the clock in a lot of key situations, whether keeping away from YSU, playing to their strengths, and they have to do this here if they want to go on to win this match. Start off with an unblemished mark in conference play. They have to just salt the clock away, but for YSU, they love to cause the turnovers. You look in this match here so far, they have caused 5. Both teams have caused 5. YSU had that margin. They held it. Now it's tied, but both teams 14-13 in total turnovers. Maybe play a little bit more cleaner game here. You're going to see a different way for Akron to salt it out, but any mistake by any of these two teams could smell the end here of this match.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you're doing for Akron. I mean, Youngstown State has kind of thrived off of the mistakes Akron's made and vice versa. I mean, you don't want to make a mistake here. This is the one time of the game that you don't want to. And Akron will look to score. I mean, if you give them an opening, they will not hesitate to put a point on the board and get this to a two-score game.
Right. And the other issue, especially for YSU, has been the draw controls. Akron leads 20-10. 20 draw controls for the Zips is a lot, especially when you have Boyd taking the most of that. When you look at it, she had 5 goals. She had 7 shots land on goal, 2 ground balls, 5 draw controls, and 1 caused turnover. What a stat line for her. She has really helped the Zips here.
Yeah, Boyd has had a spectacular game. If you look at the draw controls, it was 20-10 in favor of Akron. And 44 shots on goal combined between these two teams. I believe it was 24-20 Akron. Just a lot of shots today. Both those goalies have been busy today.
62 total shots is an absurd amount of that is. These offenses are clicking, which shows you why it's 14-13 for a minute there in the first quarter. Akron led 3-1. YSU was dormant, and you can see now they lead 5-4 here in the fourth. It has been the first and the fourth, the bookends, where Akron has controlled those margins in the offense.
Actually, 6-4, John. The app heard you on the broadcast, and they corrected it.
Thank goodness.
But, yeah, either way, I mean, still 6 goals in a quarter for Akron is spectacular. YSU had all that momentum just to get back into the game. It was a 6-4 in their advantage, and now 6-4 in Akron's advantage with the 1-point lead. 1:02 to go. Youngstown State's going to have to work real hard here to get back in this one. Akron might be able to just salt this away.
As you can see, they're just going really slow here. They want to try and cradle the ball, protect it as much as they can. Because, again, this could be crucial. YSU could run the other way. It's just a one-on-one. You can see no one is in the goal here. Everyone's on defense. But it makes you a little nervous, too, because it's wide open. Somebody could run and make a score, put this one away.
I don't think Akron's looking to score right now. Sometimes a team will look aggressive just so that because there's no goalie. I mean, why not? But, yeah, they are not looking to.
And they really can salt this one away. They have the shot clock on their side. It's over 50 seconds, so therefore they can salt this whole thing away
just
here.
Just 20 seconds, and all they're doing is cradling.
YSU's looking to cause a turnover, but can they? You can see here one-on-one. Did she step out potentially?
I believe she got hit in the face, John. Grotenthaler
yes.
might have tapped her. Another.
And that's it. As you can see, that clock slowly just start to salt away, but they'll stop it here. But it will be Akron who maintains possession.
Just 4.3 on the clock. And a big momentum boost for Akron. Moved to 1-0 in the conference. They'll be undefeated, John.
And there it is, the official end as Akron celebrates. What a tremendous fourth quarter here for the Zips. A 6-goal run compared to YSU's 4 will allow them to prevail here in a beautiful slate of action here on a Sunday afternoon. And 14-13 to start off with an unblemished mark in conference play, But for Akron, they'll have to go on the road for 2 more non-conference games. They'll have one against Radford, then they'll have to go against UMBC. Their non-conference record is not done yet, but for YSU, they will round out conference play the rest of the way until it's time for the MAC tournament. But what a tremendous effort by Youngstown State. You had 9 separate players going in the score. Everyone was in on it, but Akron, at the end of the day, it was Noelle Boyd. That 5-goal effort by her separated Akron from YSU here in the final minutes of play.
I believe that's what they call a stat sheet stuffer. John Boyd had a great day on the field today, and she was the main reason this Zips team caught a W. And now starting off conference play 1-0, which is a new feeling for them. That's why you saw them so excited after this win. It's a huge win for them. They needed this going into conference play. All the momentum in the world. 2 different or opposite ends of the alphabet here today, but Akron prevails.
Yeah, and it was really a great effort by both of these teams. They were really counted out here in that preseason poll for the MAC, both tied at the bottom, and now Akron is really saying, you wrote me off, but I'm not writing back. And they come in, they have a tremendous effort. Yes, they lost 2 games, but Lindenwood is a very good team. They've only lost 1 game on the season. You look at Radford as well. They've only lost 2 games on the season. But, of course, here, Youngstown State falls in a thriller here in conference play. But as that clock strikes 0, that will conclude today's game. For Dylan Lux and our entire broadcasting team, I'm John Ostapowicz saying so long from inside the Watson, Youngstown, Ohio, where the final score is 14-13 as Akron starts out 1-0 in conference play. Of course, all lacrosse matches airing on the YSU Athletics YouTube channel are archived in the live section of our page. This has been a presentation of YSU Athletics.